Patrick. Hello, Robert. How are you doing?
Fantastic, and I am not a nerd.
Now, when you decided to become an actor, did you imagine that you'd end up playing the bad guy as often as you do?
I had no idea. I just was grateful that when I started with my career that I was given the opportunity to do anything, to be honest with you. And if it's a bad guy, I'll do it. If it's a good guy. Actually, in all seriousness, my career is, I feel very fortunate that I'm able to do either or, and people seem to buy it. And, that's the cool thing about acting is if people believe it, you're doing a good job. So I'm thrilled.
So what do you have to do to make a good villain believable?
Well, I think acting in general, you have to believe it. So acting is, it's a personal thing for each actor, and whatever you have to do to believe the role you're playing is the art form. And so that's the trick. How well are you able to tap into your imagination and believe the situation in which you're in and what you're supposed to be portraying, and make it look like you're not acting. That's the cool part about it. I have. Thankfully, a very childish imagination, and still very childlike, and it's working. So I'm just glad somebody's paying me to do it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a great thing to act, but it's even better to be paid to do it.
So you get the role,
yeah,
playing a Terminator,
yeah,
opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger, who pretty much invented the role.
Yeah, yeah.
What is your feeling going into that? How nervous are you?
You're bringing up something, Joel. That I remember when I was living in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was working in a what do you call it? A weightlifting, a gym, and the guy that managed it, I was actually a roommate with him and shared an apartment with him while I was putting together my plan for I want to go to Hollywood and get into acting. And I was saying to him, because he was a real big bodybuilder. I was saying, dude, you should go to Hollywood. You should come with me, man, because you'd be fantastic. You could be the next Terminator. And the funny thing is years later, he reminded, he's still a friend of mine, and he remembered, he said, I remember when you said that to me, and he goes, who knew that you were going to go to Hollywood and become the next Terminator? So it never entered my mind. I was a huge fan of Mr. Schwarzenegger, the whole weightlifting thing, and certainly he was a very charismatic guy, and it was really fascinating to me that I'd make that long trek to get out and get into acting, and one of the biggest opportunities that I would get early on would be to be his nemesis.
Did he put you at your ease? Did he actually make it easy for you?
Arnold has always been great to me, for the record. He's always been fantastic and very encouraging. And at first, I think he was trying to wrap his head around the fact that I was going to be his equal, if not his superior, in that movie as far as physical, as far as the physicality of the two different characters. Like, it was tough for him to wrap his head around the fact that I was more dense, I was stronger, I was faster. There was the fight scene in the hallway where we're we're ramming each other into the wall and all that. I remember him saying to Jim, I think I should pick up the T1000. I throw him over my head this way and that way, and Jim going, no, you don't understand. He's more dense than you. You can't do that to him, and him having to kind of go, okay, and we have to see a little weakness. We have to see that Robert has the advantage on you, and this is the whole way the movie's going to work. It was that kind of thing.
I was actually watching.
He's a great guy, and I recently just saw him at the Sinatra 100 celebration in Vegas, and we had a nice 15-minute conversation before the show, and he's just a terrific guy. He's an impressive human being. All the things that he's accomplished in his lifetime.
I was actually watching that scene. It was on TV only a week ago here in Australia.
What was that? Was
T2.
Oh, T2. T2's on TV every day. It's on everywhere. I mean, right now you could turn on. Quick, check the TV guide. I'm sure it's on TV everywhere. It's on everywhere. I was just saying that to somebody was asking me about that, and I was saying, it's a damn perfect movie. And I'm not saying it because I'm in it, but I'm also saying it because I'm in it. But it really is it's a pretty darn perfect movie. There's nothing you could cut out, nothing you could cut in to make it any better. It's it's really great thing to have on your resume. I mean, I could have been famous for many other things, but that's the thing. It's pretty cool.
Who was harder to physically fight in that film, Arnie or Linda Hamilton? Because they were both pretty buffed up at the time.
Oh, Linda, well, she's so gorgeous. So, I mean, I've got a thing for Linda. I had a crush on her when we were making that movie. She's so attractive, and she's just a beautiful girl. And it was I wasn't the only one that had a crush on her when we were making that movie, because I didn't know that.
Every nerd who saw that movie had a crush on her by the end of it.
She was so buff, and yeah. Well, I tell you, Arnold was the only one that I hurt while I was making that movie, and I'll tell you a funny story. When I had that huge rod, and he's down, and I'm wailing on him. He had his arm behind him like this, and his fake arm, the prosthetic arm was out here, and I had a specific spot I had to hit, and I'm wham, and I'm just like, Jim, like reach up to the heavens and send it into his back, and wham, I think I mean that like 4 times, and after the take, finally, he's got it like this. He looks back up at me, and Robert, that was my real arm.
Now, Robert, they are winding us up. I'm wondering if you're up for a lightning round, which is 10 questions in under a minute.
Do it.
Okay, then. Which of your own movies do you enjoy watching the most?
I only watch my movies once.
Who would win in a fight, Arnie or Linda Hamilton?
Linda Hamilton.
Which actor besides you is the best at being a villain?
Kevin Spacey.
If you could be in any modern TV show, what would it be?
Game of Thrones.
Ooh, what would you want to be in that?
I haven't watched it, but I heard it's great. My son loves it. My son loves it, and he says it's a little pornographic, Dad. I said, son, is that why you like it? And he says, well, there's a lot of boobs.
Did you think Scully and Mulder were sleeping together when you were in the X-Files?
Yes.
What was your best on-screen kiss?
Wow, I've had many. I don't know. The scenes I've had with my wife.
Good answer. Very good answer. What question do you get asked the most at conventions like this?
Who would you beat up, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Linda Hamilton?
How would you go about killing a liquid metal Terminator if you had to?
Immediately throw him in a hot vat of molten steel.
And you decide to steal a car. What do you tell the driver as you get in?
Get out.
Robert Patrick, thank you so much for being a good sport.
My pleasure. Absolutely, Joel.